My mom refused to pick up my sick daughter from school. "I'm not your babysitter," she said. She waited outside for 2 hours in the cold. I didn't argue. I just did something quiet. 3 days later the calls started. Crying, begging, panicking. Last winter I got a call from my daughter's school around 1:30 p.m. Fever, chills, throwing up. I was in the middle of a client meeting that had taken 2 weeks to schedule, and I knew I couldn't leave. I had never asked my mom for anything big, not since I'd moved out at 19. But that day I made an exception. I called her and asked if she could pick up Lily. The school was 10 minutes from her house. I explained everything, how sick Lily was, how I was stuck until 3, how all she needed to do was pick her up and keep her warm at her place for a bit until I got there. I even offered to bring groceries over the next day or pay her back for gas. He cut me off. "I'm not your babysitter." That's all she said. Not even a sorry. Then she hung up. It wasn't the first time she acted cold, but it was the first time it hurt someone other than me. Lily is 7. She's never asked anyone for much. She had the flu and she was scared. The nurse had to leave early that day, so they moved her to the front office. Then the receptionist said she couldn't stay there either. Too many germs. So they told her to wait by the front entrance until someone came. I didn't know that part until later. When I pulled up, Lily was sitting outside on the concrete bench, hugging her backpack like it could warm her. Her coat was zipped up to her chin, but she was still shivering. Her cheeks were red from the cold, but not from fever. Her eyes were glassy. She looked like she'd given up waiting for anyone else. She didn't even cry when she saw me. She just stood up slowly and said, "Can we go home now?" That night I didn't sleep. I laid next to her and I thought about all the times I'd swallowed things for the sake of keeping peace. All the times my mom said I was dramatic, ungrateful, soft. All the times she crossed the line and I said nothing. But this was different. I didn't yell. I didn't text her some long message or call her out on Facebook. I didn't say anything. 3 days later I got a voicemail from her sister. "Your mom says she needs your help. What's going on? Call her, she's crying." Then another one from her friend Carol. "She's been trying to reach you. Did something happen?" Then my dad. "Your mother's upset. Can you please act like an adult and talk to her?" I still hadn't said a word. But by then something small had already started. Something quiet. I wasn't done. It was late February when my mom ran into us at Target. I hadn't planned it. I never took Lily to the one near their neighborhood, but that Saturday Carol had invited us over to bake cupcakes, and Lily wanted to get pink frosting and little candy hearts. We were in the baking aisle when I heard my mom say Lily's name. Lily turned around and smiled, but not the way she used to. It was a polite smile, not excited, not rushed. Just polite. My mom bent down, arms open, but Lily didn't move. She said hi, then turned back to look at the shelf. I didn't say anything either. I just waited. She stood up slowly and asked what we were doing there. I said we were on our way to Carol's. That Carol invited us for baking day. She blinked like she didn't understand the sentence. "Carol, why would she?" Then she stopped, and I watched it hit her. I could see the math happening in her head. All the weekends we skipped dinner. All the ignored texts. The silence. And now this. Her granddaughter calling someone else Nana. She asked if she could come with us. I said no. Her voice got louder. He said this was petty. Said she didn't deserve this kind of treatment. That I was punishing her over nothing. I didn't answer. I turned to Lily and asked if she found the frosting she wanted. She nodded and dropped it in the cart. Then I walked past my mom and didn't look back. That night she left 4 voicemails. One of them she was crying. One of them she sounded angry. One of them she begged. She said she missed Lily. That she was sorry if she came off the wrong way. That she didn't realize how serious I was about all this. But I knew she wasn't sorry about what she did. She was sorry she got left out. The next morning I got a call from my dad. I didn't pick up. Then he texted, "You've made your point. She's miserable. What do you want from her?" I didn't reply, because I already had what I wanted. He was finally feeling it. And I wasn't done yet. It was the Saturday before Valentine's Day, and Carol had invited us over to bake cupcakes and make little heart crafts with the kids. Lily had been talking about it all week. She picked out a sparkly apron from her closet that morning and insisted we stop at the store for pink frosting and candy hearts. I almost didn't go to that Target. It was the one near my parents' house. But I figured it was early enough and we'd be in and out. We were in the baking aisle when I heard someone behind us say Lily's name. That fake sweet tone that always had a little edge under it. I didn't even need to turn around. Lily did though. He said hi. Just hi. No hug, no excitement, no running over. Just a flat little hi. Then she turned back and asked me if we could get the rainbow sprinkles too. My mom stood there with a smile frozen on her face. She looked at me waiting for something. I said nothing. I picked up a bag of flour and pretended to compare it to another brand. She asked what we were doing there. I told her we were on our way to Carol's baking day. She blinked like I'd spoken another language. Carol, why are you going to Carol's? I said nothing. She laughed a little and said she could come too. That she hadn't seen Lily in a while and it would be good to catch up. I didn't even pretend to consider it. I just said no, you're not invited. That was it. And she didn't know what to do with it. Her smile dropped. She asked if this was really still about the school thing. That she hadn't realized I was going to drag it out this long. She kept saying how it wasn't a big deal, that everyone was overreacting, that she didn't mean anything by it. Lily, completely unaware of the tension, was still comparing sprinkle jars. I leaned down and asked if she was ready. She nodded. As we walked away, I could feel my mom staring after us. She didn't say anything else. But I knew it wasn't over. That night, the voicemails started again. 4 in a row. One where she cried. One where she said I was cruel. One where she said she didn't even remember what she'd done wrong. And one where she begged to talk to Lily. The next morning my dad called. I didn't pick up. He texted instead. You've made your point. She's miserable. What do you want from her? I stared at the message for a long time. I didn't write back. Because it was never about making a point. It was about proving something I'd tried to ignore for years. That she had never really cared for Lily the way she pretended to. That when it counted, she saw her as my problem, not her granddaughter. But now that someone else was stepping up, someone who wasn't related by blood, someone who didn't owe anything to Lily, it was starting to eat her alive. And the best part? I hadn't yelled. I hadn't argued. I hadn't made a scene. I just disappeared. And I wasn't done yet. By the end of February, I was already used to ignoring their calls. My mom had switched from angry to emotional and then to guilt-tripping. My dad stuck to his usual strategy, pretending none of it was happening. And Lily? She didn't even ask about them anymore. Then something unexpected happened. I got a letter in the mail. A formal one. Thick cream paper, expensive envelope. From my parents' attorney. I almost tossed it, but curiosity got me. It was a notice. My mom and dad had updated their will. Apparently, I was no longer the executor. That job now belonged to my cousin Rachel, the one who once called Lily a drama queen for crying at her 5th birthday party when someone popped her balloon. I read it twice, laughed once, then set it down. It was the most transparent move yet. They wanted me to feel cut out, like I was being punished. But it felt like a relief. 3 days later, Lily's birthday came around. She wanted to have it at the trampoline park. Just a few friends from school, some pizza, nothing over the top. Carol helped organize everything. She even made the cake, chocolate with raspberry layers. I didn't invite my parents. Not because I wanted to make a statement, but because it didn't even occur to me. That's how far gone it already was. But they came anyway. I saw them walk in right as we lit the candles. They stood by the door holding a gift bag and a camera. My mom had on that bright lipstick she only wears when she's trying too hard. My dad looked like he didn't even want to be there. Lily saw them. Her face didn't change. She leaned over and whispered to me, I don't want to open their gift. I nodded. We blew out the candles. Moved on. They stood there through the whole party like awkward guests at a wedding they weren't invited to. When it ended, they came over and tried to hug Lily. She stepped behind me and waved instead. My mom handed me the gift bag and said, I hope you're proud of what you've done. I said, you came to a child's party uninvited and are now blaming the child. That's impressive. She didn't say another word. I gave the gift bag to Carol. Told her to toss it or donate it. She didn't even ask questions. Just nodded and set it aside like she already knew. That night, I got another text from my dad. You're hurting your mother. This has gone too far. That's when I realized something important. They still thought this was about them. They hadn't even considered that maybe this was about Lily. About what she needed. About how she'd been left in the cold, literally, and now wanted nothing to do with the people who didn't come for her when it mattered. They thought this was some stunt. Tantrum. They didn't realize this wasn't punishment. It was protection. And things were about to get even colder for them. March came in hard that year. Cold, icy, relentless. One Thursday night just before midnight, my phone lit up with a call from my dad. I let it ring. A minute later, a text came through. Power's out. Your mom slipped on the porch. I can't get the car out. Can you come help? I stared at the screen for a long time. I could picture their driveway. Steep, poorly shoveled, exactly the kind of thing my mom always refused help with. She'd once told me she didn't need a man with a truck to do what she could do herself. She was like that. Until it didn't work out. I texted back one word. No follow-up. No explanation. I turned my phone face down and went back to bed. In the morning, there were 7 missed calls and 2 voicemails. One from my dad sounding frantic. One from my mom crying. I didn't listen to either. I called Carol instead and asked if she wanted to take Lily to the kids' museum that day. We made a whole thing of it. Pancakes, crafts, a movie. Lily laughed so hard at one point she got hiccups. She never asked where Grandma was. Later that week I heard from Rachel, the cousin from the will. She called to say my mom had fractured her wrist and my dad had thrown his back out trying to help her. She said they were both home, miserable, and apparently still without power for 2 days because the pipes froze and then burst. She said maybe I should consider being the bigger person. I told her I already had. That's why I was keeping Lily away. Then came the email. Long rambling. My mom had never been good at apologizing and it showed. She didn't say she was wrong. She said she understood why I was upset. She said she missed us. That she was sorry things had gotten so out of hand. That family should stick together. That she didn't know how we'd gotten here. I almost laughed. I didn't reply. That Saturday, Carol and I took Lily to a small town an hour away for a craft fair. On the way back, we passed a black SUV on the side of the road. Hazard lights blinking. My stomach dropped. It was my dad's car. I slowed down for a second. Enough to confirm it was them. Then I kept driving. Carol looked at me but didn't say a word. I didn't feel good about it. Not proud. Not triumphant. Just done. They'd finally been left out in the cold the way Lily was that day on the school steps. Only this time it wasn't a bench in front of a building. It was life. And I wasn't going to come pick them up this time. But even as I told myself it was justified, something in me shifted. Not guilt exactly. Something else. Because revenge doesn't heal. It only stops the bleeding. And I was starting to wonder if maybe it was time to actually mend something. For Lily. For me. Just not yet. It was sometime in early April when Lily drew that picture. She was sitting cross-legged on the living room rug, flipping through old crayons while I cleaned out the bottom drawer of the sideboard. The one we toss all her craft stuff into when we're too tired to sort it. She held up the paper and said, "Can I put this one on the fridge?" It was a house drawn in pink marker. 3 stick figures stood in front. One tall with brown hair, me. One shorter with wild red scribbles for hair and round glasses, Carol. And Lily in the middle holding both our hands. I smiled. Said of course. Then she looked at me and asked, "Do I still have a grandma?" I didn't expect the question. I didn't even have an answer right away. She wasn't angry. She just looked curious. Like she was trying to solve a puzzle no one had explained the rules to. I told her yes, she did. But things were complicated. She said maybe she forgot how to be nice. Then she stuck the drawing on the fridge next to the one of a dinosaur with a birthday hat and skipped off to get juice. I stood there staring at that paper longer than I should have. The truth is, I'd been so focused on making a point I forgot what Lily was seeing through all this. In my effort to protect her, I'd also erased parts of her story without asking if she was ready for that. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe I wasn't either. That night, after she went to bed, I sat on the couch with my phone in my hand for a full hour before I finally typed the message. "Do you want to see Lily next weekend?" No apology. No preamble. Just that. My mom replied in 3 minutes. Yes. We agreed on the park. I made it clear. Short visit, public space, no presents, no drama. I didn't tell Lily until the morning of. She didn't say much, just asked if she could bring her scooter. They were already sitting on a bench when we arrived. My dad stood up when he saw us, like he wasn't sure what he was supposed to do. My mom didn't move. Lily looked at them, then turned to me and asked if it was okay to say hi. I nodded. She walked over slowly. They stood and said hello. He said it back. Then she rode slow circles around the path while my parents sat awkwardly, commenting now and then on the weather or how big she'd gotten. After 10 minutes, Lily stopped and asked if Grandma could push her on the swing. My mom looked stunned. Like she hadn't expected to be invited into any part of Lily's world again. She looked at me. I nodded again. And just like that she walked over and began pushing the swing. They didn't talk much. Lily leaned back and looked at the sky. My mom just pushed softly. Like she knew it was fragile. We stayed for maybe 40 minutes. No tears. No big conversations. But something shifted. Not fixed, just loosened. Less sharp. The next week my dad emailed me a scanned flyer for Lily's school fundraiser. He asked if they could come. I told him yes as long as they followed the same rules. No gifts, no overstepping, no asking for more than Lily was ready to give. They showed up. They stood in the back, clapped when she read her poem, then left without trying to make it about them. 2 weeks later Lily drew another picture. Same pink house. But now 5 stick figures. Me. Her. Lily. My mom. My dad. And she gave them all names this time. When I tucked her in that night she said, "I think Grandma's trying again." I said, "I think she is too. We're not healed. Not even close. But we're not frozen anymore. Not stuck. Some bridges collapse. Others catch fire and burn down in silence. But some smolder for a long time. Until someone decides to walk back through the smoke. This time it was me. But not for their sake. For hers. And maybe, just maybe, that'll be enough to change the ending.